Jalen Pitre, safety at Baylor from Stafford, Texas. Why did I stay committed to Baylor? I stayed committed to Baylor just off the fact that they gave me a shot, and I felt like all the other schools at that time were kind of counting me out. So I felt like it was, my duty to, go to Baylor and put in the work and, eventually get to where I wanted to get in my football career. So I just wanted to, be loyal to the school that was loyal to me. A lot of coaches around the country didn't really see what Baylor saw in me. So, I took that to heart, and I'm really appreciative for that opportunity. When I committed to Baylor, it was seen as one of the biggest college teams in the nation. Their offense was exploding, and they were winning a lot of games. And when they offered me, I was very excited. I was like, this is my opportunity to play at the next level. When I committed with Hezekiah Jones, one of my best friends from high school. When we committed, we just thought that it would be a great place to go. Like I said, it's a great school to get a degree from, and they were winning at the time. So. It wasn't like a hard choice for us. We thought that we could come in, put in the work, and then eventually get to that point where we're playing. We had guys from Hez to Kellen to Jamon, Aaron Browning. Those were, big name guys. It wasn't really hard when committing to Baylor with all those good guys, and we thought that it was gonna be a great experience. I came into college with Coach Rhule, he had just gotten hired, and I had came on my official visit maybe 5 days after he was hired, and it was me, him, Sean Patton, and a couple other, support staff, and we went to breakfast, and he was a great guy, but I didn't understand the level of coaching and the level of expertise that him and his staff had. As a freshman, I played all 12 games. I started in 9 of them, and it was an eye-opening experience for me. I remember going through that first spring because I was an early enrollee, and just playing with those guys, those older guys on the team, it was different, and I was thrown into the fire really fast, and I had to learn a lot of things really fast. So it was good for me, but I honestly don't think I was ready. I played my first game against Liberty, and I honestly don't remember anything about it. It happened so fast, it was a blink of an eye, and looking back, I'm very thankful for that though, because just blitzing, pass coverages, different type of schemes that offenses run. Throughout the years, I've learned a lot just from, playing so early and messing up a lot. I think when you mess up a lot, you learn faster because you don't want to keep messing up. When we came down to those close games, I wasn't really noticing how close we are because I was so worried about, doing my job right and making sure that I was in the right spots on the field. So those games kind of flew by, and I didn't really notice how close we was, but it wasn't until after the season and I look back at all the scores, I'm like, we're really close, and we just got to push harder in the off-season, in spring practice, and we'll eventually get to the wins that we wanted. When I look back on 2018, I just think about the process and the team, how they stuck to it. As a team, we just kept pushing through, knowing that we lost a lot of games in 2017, and they kind of just had to keep working mindset, and eventually that turned into some wins. So when we lost the Duke game, it was a bit hard because, we go into every game trying to win. But as the season went on, we, kept the confidence to, keep pushing through because we knew losing was just something that just happens sometimes and that it's not who you are. We kind of went into the next game with the what's next mindset, and that's how we eventually came to 7 wins. So we wasn't really stuck on one loss or 1 win. We was always thinking about what's next because we know that nothing's gonna stop and that we have to keep pushing because something else is gonna come up. Getting bowl eligible was a great feeling. I feel like at Texas Tech, we went into the game, we have to win, putting our best foot forward. We were doing everything we could to win, and then at the end of the game, we kind of had a feeling that we was gonna win. I remember being on the sideline with Terrell Bernard and Jordan Williams, and we're jumping around because it was gonna be me and Terrell's first bowl game, and we was oh, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna have so much fun. And then when we got to the locker room, Coach Rhule told us, and I remember just water being thrown around, people just jumping around, we having a party. It was a great experience. So the 2019 season was a great one. It started off in fall camp, and I remember just seeing the team and just noticing how great we can be, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because that's where I play. I would just remember Coach Snow, Coach Saravo, and all the coaches just pushing us to, run hard in practice and do the little things right, because they said that it would eventually pay off, and it did. I remember starting off early in the season, we played the non-conference games and we won all of those, and I'm like, okay, we're on the right track, we're doing the right things. Then we get into conference play, and I ended up playing 4 games, the first 4 games, because that was my redshirt season. It was hard, watching them win sometimes and knowing you wasn't out there contributing, but I always had the, long-term mindset, knowing that they are winning, but I'm winning too, because I get to watch them and I get to learn from a lot of those great players that were out there. I think the biggest component about the 2019 team was the toughness of the team. A lot of those players had been around since 2017, and they had lost all those games, so they knew what it took to, go into a game and be down or be in the late seconds of a game and it be close. And we pushed through a lot of those games. So we were that close to the playoffs. I remember being in the Big 12 championship game and, being out there as a signal caller and just noticing that we're not far away from it. But I don't think it was an emphasis on the team. Coaches didn't really put a big emphasis that, worried about the next week or any of that. I feel like coaches did a good job at, helping us focus on what was happening now. That season ended up going great. We ended up getting to the Sugar Bowl, and that was a great experience. We ended up in New Orleans, a game that I watched my whole life. My parents are from Louisiana, so, they were ecstatic to be in New Orleans, and it was just a great experience. Yeah, so during the Sugar Bowl, hearing all the rumors about Coach Rhule maybe leaving, it was kind of rough on us, because he was my first head coach in college football, and I looked up to him a lot as well. He taught me a lot of things as a person, and also how to be a great coach. So it was a little bit rough for me, but then again, I had to understand that it was a business, and that him as a man, he wants to move up as well, just like we want to move up. So I had to understand that, and I was eventually happy for him when, he got the job with the Carolina Panthers. So when I found out Coach Aranda was going to be the head coach, I was, like, wow, we're getting a new head coach. Everybody gets a fresh start. Let's see how this is going to go. But I seen what he had done at his previous schools. Watching LSU, Grant Delpit definitely stood out to me. He's a, childhood friend that I played Little League with, and I seen the impact that he has. So I thought that, I could also have that impact in the back end, off the edge, blitzing, also in coverage. So that's one player that kind of stood out to me all the time, because I definitely had an eye on him. At the beginning, meeting Coach Aranda, I thought he was more of a quiet person, laid back, didn't really, speak out as much. But as time went on, I seen that he was more of a, collective person, and he was just, collecting all his thoughts, and eventually he would come back and talk to you. So that's probably the biggest thing that I see about him. He's a very patient man, and that's something that I want to be. So, I'm trying to follow in his footsteps. My relationship with Coach Aranda has grown a lot. I've seen a lot of different sides of him, with losing those games to, having an off season with him. So he's taught me a lot about him as a person and how he's grown, and that's also helped me as a person off the field as well. So during COVID, I was at home with my parents and my brother, and during that time, my brother was coming up on his last season of college football as well at UIW, and I was coming up on my season at Baylor. So it wasn't really hard for us to, stay in the loop in terms of football. We, have a bunch of college football games recorded on our TV at home, so we were constantly watching games, and also, he stayed on top of me with workouts. So it wasn't hard staying in shape, and I think he's the biggest reason that I had a great season in the fall of 2020, because he pushed me to work so hard during that COVID breakout. Last year it was a bit rough. We didn't win as many games as we wanted to, and we didn't see the success that we wanted to. But I think that everything happens for a reason. Last year, the defense was doing kind of good in some areas. We weren't seeing those wins, so we weren't as happy as we wanted to be, but I kind of tried to have that long-term mindset and know that we were losing for a reason, and that it would eventually pay off. And these were just, learning tools for the future. Vic Velour coming to, Baylor was a big deal. He had won the championship at LSU.
in 2019. He has a song called Destroy Everything, and he's big on, making sure that whatever gets put in front of you, that you destroy it and you go to work on it. So, he's big on music and energy, and I think that provides a great atmosphere for us in the weight room. Coach Aranda and his staff does a great job during the offseason at, making sure that the team is bonding. We went to a bunch of different places, from Top Golf to shooting basketball against each other. We had a three-point shootout, have that competitive atmosphere, but also, be able to bond with your teammates. So it was great in the offseason to do that with my team. I think spring football was great for us, knowing that we didn't have it in the COVID year, and it definitely helped us out a lot in the scheme, like I said, in the bonding, and a bunch of other things as well.
First day of fall camp, last season, back live, we here. Had a great spring, had a great summer session, had a great winter workout. It's time to go out there and show, what I've learned from this offseason, and also like the gains that I've made. So looking forward to going out there and competing with my teammates, and just having that energy back. Being back on the football field, it's nothing like it. So it's gonna be fun, and I look forward to this last season with the Baylor Bears. Sick 'em. I do have a bad taste in my mouth from last season. I felt like me and my teammates, we left a lot on the field, but I do feel like there's a lot of growth in this offseason. I know that the work that we put in the offseason is gonna pay off, and I'm just ready to see it.
The defense is crazy this year. I feel like we're running to the ball faster than we ever have. We know our assignments better than we ever have. We're communicating. I think that's the biggest part. Communication, breeds confidence, and when we're talking to each other, we're all on the same page. All 11 guys are on the same page, and running to the ball. We don't feel like we can be beat. Coach Grimes, I think the biggest thing that he's been pushing for the offense is that RVO swagger, making sure they know what they're doing, and also, being confident in what they're doing. I feel like they're making huge jumps. Coach Grimes and his, staff is doing a great job of, getting everybody involved. I feel like the receiving core has made a big jump as well. Watch them put in the work during the offseason. Just seeing them in one-on-ones and team periods, they're definitely crisp out there on the field, and the running back group is running tough, not getting tackled by the first person. And the offensive line group, I feel like they're grimy, and they're looking to punish people. So when you have all those pieces together, it looks really, really good.
Game week is here. First week against Texas State. Feel like it's gonna be a good one in San Marcos. Right now, prepping a little bit with some film and some notes on some of the things that their receivers and offensive line do. So, just getting ready for them and looking forward to this first game against Texas State. Sick 'em Bears.